Alrighty. Should be good. Should be live. Make sure this mic is good. Okay. Good there? All good? What's up, guys? What's up, man? It's a big slate tonight. It's 11, 12, 13, 14, I think. 14 games tonight. Almost every team's playing. I think the only team that aren't playing are the Lakers and the Mavs, and they play tomorrow. So, we got a big slate tonight. There's going to be a lot to talk about. Obviously, some injury news is pending. A lot of the injury news that we were waiting on, we did kind of get already. So, I don't know what plays we're going to be able to snipe, on this stream. But we've got some injury news still pending. For the Warriors, they got a couple guys questionable. We'll talk about some, potential value there. We've got some questionable tags in the Pacers game, which actually is kind of meaningful. The Pacers don't really have a lot of players available today. They're resting a lot of guys. So, they've got some guys questionable. Micah Potter, Jarris Walker. You wouldn't think those questionable tags would matter, but they actually do, especially given the scenario. And then Anthony Edwards is questionable. I feel like Anthony Edwards is questionable every day. We'll keep an eye on that one. We did just get word that Joel Embiid is out again. So, I think they've already kind of adjusted the 76ers props. That news came out before I got on stream. Yeah, they've already adjusted those props. But we can take a look at those lines, I guess, in a little bit, see if there's any value there. And then, we're waiting on news on Devin Booker. He's questionable on a back-to-back. Alex Sard just did get ruled out, so they've probably already adjusted lines there. But there's a couple plays I'm looking at for tonight that we could maybe potentially snipe. So we'll start off first with, I'll just start off with the games that are actually probably, if we get news, it'll be on stream. There's some games later that there's injury news pending, but those, we're not going to probably get that news till after stream. But in some of these early games, so in the Pacers game, Micah Potter is questionable. I think if Micah Potter gets ruled out, that is really, really good for Jay Huff, because the Pacers pretty much don't have any other centers at that point. because Pascal Siakam's out. They traded away Isaiah Jackson. Like, they're really thin on centers if Micah Potter's out. So I'll be looking to take some J Huff overs if there's no Potter. I think 18.5 PRA, or PR, excuse me. I think that looks really good if Micah Potter's out. I don't know how quick the sites will be to take these off the board, because it's a J Huff over. It's not like it's some star player getting ruled out. Like Micah Potter getting ruled out, you wouldn't think matters much, but it really does matter today, especially for J Huff. So if we get news Micah Potter is out, definitely try and get some J Huff overs in. 18.5 PR I really like. Next one that we'll take a look at that is meaningful is the Devin Booker news. So Devin Booker is questionable on a back-to-back. Jalen Green is also questionable. He didn't play yesterday. I doubt he plays today, but we'll see. Definitely the Booker news is meaningful, though. And if Devin Booker is out, I think the biggest beneficiary is Jordan Goodwin. I would assume that Jordan Goodwin starts in place of Booker because they don't have Grayson Allen right now either. So 16.5 PRA over, 11.5 points and assist, 22.5 fantasy. Like, all these look pretty good to me. Especially probably the points and assists. Either that or the fantasy score would probably be my favorite for Jordan Goodwin. But if you see Devin Booker ruled out, again, we're not going to probably get this news on stream, so we won't be able to adjust then. But if you're at your computer, at your phone, I would definitely be looking to try and bet some Jordan Goodwin overs if Devin Booker gets ruled out. And then the last one that I want to talk about is in the Warriors game. They have DeAnthony Melton and Will Richard questionable. If DeAnthony Melton is out, I think that really benefits Brandon Prizepicks. I would assume that Prizepicks would be back in the starting lineup for Melton. So taking some pods overs, 27 fantasy score, that's a play I like for sure. So that's for those people that maybe want to try and get those later tonight if you're around your computer or at your phone or something. But for this stream specifically, we'll wait and see what we get. And I've already got some plays I'm liking that we'll give out on stream as well. We did give out 2 slips yesterday. One of them lost. Jose Alvarado got into some early foul trouble. His minutes got cut because of some early foul trouble. So that we gave out a 3 pick. It went 2 for 3. But then we did give out a J Huff under with the Booker taco, which did cash. So hopefully you guys tell that from yesterday's stream. But I want to say what's up to everybody in chat. As always, man, I appreciate all you guys tuning into the streams. Every single day. This will probably be, this will be one of our last streams for the All-Star break. We got a lot of games today, and then I think tomorrow there's only like 3 games. And then after tomorrow, there's no NBA games until, I believe, Thursday of next week. So you guys won't see me for a while, for like a week or so after Thursday. But I do appreciate everyone tuning into this stream today, and let's see if we can, make some money. And if you guys do have any questions for tonight, feel free to throw those in chat. We'll try and answer some questions as well, and just kind of, lead you guys in the right direction. But I see Dat Boy Rizzle says, "What's up, Noah? What's up, Rizzle? What's up, my man?" Brandon, he's in stream. Appreciate you, Brandon. Let's go, Noah. Let's bang out another stream slip. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. Timothy says, "Hello, Noah 1. Thanks for the streams." Appreciate that, Timothy. He says, "The Beast Embiid over 28.5 points." Well, Embiid is not playing tonight, my man. So can't give much of a take there. Jalen Wells over 13.5 PRA. And Benedict Mathurin over 17.5 PRA. We can take a look at those 2 props. Let's pull up our handy Props Madness, and let's talk about some of these plays. So if you guys don't have an account on Props Madness, what are you doing? $20 per month. Use my promo code NOAH. You'll get 25% off your first month subscription. It's a great research site. Helps you out. You can look up anything you possibly could want to look up. Hit rates, matchup, stats. You can look at on-off splits. Like, it has everything there. But Curion, I don't know if that's how you say your name, but he was asking about Jalen Wells. So let's take a look at some Jalen Wells props. 17.5 or 13.5 PRA. That's probably a goblin line if I had to guess, because it looks like his line's 17.5, 16.5 everywhere else. I mean, I'm sure if you look at his line at 13.5, he's probably got a very good hit rate on that, 68%. We can look at games without Ja Morant, without Santi Aldama, without Zach Edey. All those guys are out tonight. I mean, he's over that line in 5 out of 7 games. Cedric Coward's doubtful too. Like, let's just look at games without Ja and Cedric Coward. I mean, 17, 13, 17 PRA. Look, you're going to, I'm assuming if you're taking 13.5 PRA, you're going to be laying some heavy juice on that. But I mean, I would say that probably hits. The Grizzlies are so thin right now. Like, they're missing all their high usage guys. So Wells, he's going to have the opportunity to produce for sure. And then matchup wise, I mean, I think it's a decent matchup. You know, you look at Jalen Wells, 47% of his points come from catch and shoot. Nuggets, they're bottom 10 in catch and shoot points allowed this year. That's a plus for Jalen Wells. 35% of his points come from spot up. The Nuggets, 24th in defending spot up, so that's a plus. So the matchup should be decent as well. And then Benedict Mathurin, we can take a look at some Benedict Mathurin props. It's a little bit harder to look at Mathurin's season-long stats because, again, he's on a new team right now. But if we just look at his last 2 games with the Clippers, I believe he's only played 2 games with the Clippers. Let me see. Pretty sure, at least. I think these were his 2 games with the Clippers. 25 PRA, and then, you know, last game he had 9 PRA. Or maybe he's played 3 games. Honestly, I can't remember. But I want to say he's played 2. The role's been pretty solid for Mathurin. He's coming off the bench, but he's going to get a lot of usage, especially because he's going to play a lot of his minutes without Kawhi. If we're looking at his 17.5 PRA, I mean, if you're getting that line on Prizepicks, I think that's pretty good. Looks like Prizepicks has his line at 20, so I'm assuming that's another Goblin line. Look, it's a Goblin line. It's going to have a high hit rate. Should you play it? Is the payout going to be worth it? I guess that's up for you to decide, but I expect Mathurin to continue to have a good role. I mean, these 2 games with the Clippers, 15 shot attempts in 34 minutes, 13 shot attempts in 26 minutes. He's also had 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. So good RA potential as well to go along with the scoring. I don't like the matchup, but you know, he's done well in this matchup. He's played the Rockets, what, 2 times? Or, okay, so last game, that's his 1 game with the Clippers. So he's only played 1 game with the Clippers. His debut was last game. But yeah, he did have 20 RA, or 20 PRA in 26 minutes. So, it's okay, I guess. I've said this before, man, the Goblins on Prizepicks, I just don't think they're worth it. Today is the Mikal Revenge Day, and OG is out. Could be. OG Savage says, Noah, where you at, bro? Come hurry and lock us in. I'm trying, my man. I'm trying. I just spent $125 on my car. I need that back tonight. Well, let's hope you can make it back. Lord Phantom says we're a little laggy. The stream should be good. I don't think I've dropped any frames, but let me know if it's laggy. Should be good, though. Of course, Embiid is out. That's more often than not. Yeah, sadly, that's true. Jason says, are you not entertained? Are you not entertained, baby? Oh, Noah Clowney just got ruled out for the Nets. That kind of matters. Let's look at some Nets props. We took a Day'Ron Sharpe over, so I feel better about that now. Prizepicks is lagging like crazy right now. Holy fuck. What do they have? Drake Powell. Zaire. I think this is good for Zaire and Drake Powell. Can we even get this in? Or is it going to lock? Let's play these 2. What's a pair we could have? Honestly, I think we take that Jordan Goodwin over and just hope that Devin Booker's out. Do we take fantasy or PA? Or PRA. Let's go PA. I'm playing this. If you guys want to tail this, feel free. Hopefully you can get this in. I think Noah Clowney being out for the Nets is a big deal. It actually does matter. Because right now, let's see. I'm assuming, I don't know who's going to start for Clowney. It'll probably be Zaire. It'll probably be Zaire, but they could go a lot. They could start Terrence Mann. They could start, I don't know. They could start Jalen Wilson. But right now the Nets have, let's see, they still have like 11 available or 12 available players, so they have some depth. But Clowney, you know, he was projected to be one of the higher usage players for the Nets tonight because they're just, you know, they don't have MPJ, they don't have Nick Claxton. If you guys get this, let me know. It looks like they just locked Powell's PRA, and they just pull Zaire. Okay, yeah, it looks like all of Powell's lines are locked. Did anybody get that? It was up for like a minute or so. Logan said he got it, so that's good. I think that's a good slip. I really do. We could have definitely looked at maybe like some Danny Wolf overs, but Danny Wolf's lines were kind of already inflated because of, you know, so many guys being out. Whereas like Zaire and Powell's lines were super low. I mean, I would think Powell probably projects for like at least 4 or 5 more minutes now. Same with Zaire. So there was definitely value on both of those. Everybody else get that? I saw Logan said he got it. Zaire bumped to 17.5. Yeah, I wouldn't have taken that. It looks like they probably bumped it and then they just removed everything. Yeah, Prizepicks, man, it gets real laggy. Luckily on my computer, like, it seems to be okay sometimes, but I understand, like, whenever there's, like, when Prizepicks is trying to take a lot of props off the board, like, the site just gets really laggy and slow and basically makes it impossible sometimes to get the stuff in. Jason's asking, should we take the discount or is it risky with the blowout risk? I mean, look, man, it's a 6-point discount, so I would take it. And if he doesn't hit, he doesn't hit. If you're worried about that, then take the under on 27.5, whatever his, or 26.5. But it's a, you know, it's a 5-point discount, so it's still a good bet in the end. There's obviously a chance that, you know, he has 20 points at the end of the third quarter and then doesn't play in the fourth because it's a blowout. That's possible, but he could also score 22 points in 3 quarters because the matchup's so good. So. Adrian says, all the picks you pick, I just green goblin them and it's been good. I mean, if that works for you, man, I guess, yeah, you could do that. Look, I've said it before, like the green goblins on Prizepicks, I'm not a fan. I don't think they're worth what you get, but if that's a strategy that you like, that you've been taking, then yeah, I guess you could do it. Bernie's asking, I would assume in fantasy if Edwards is out, I definitely like that. I'd be highly surprised if Anthony Edwards sits. He's one of those players that, like, he just never misses games. Even when he's questionable, he typically plays. But if Anthony Edwards is out, I think Io would definitely be a big beneficiary. I'd assume Io would start for Anthony Edwards. And then I think Dante DiVincenzo would also benefit a lot. I think Jaden McDaniels gets a little bit of a boost. Obviously, Randall and Gobert get a small boost. But I think my 2 favorite plays, if Anthony Edwards gets ruled out, these are my 2 favorite plays right here, for sure. Both these lines would be at least like 3 or 4 points too low if Ant doesn't play. But like I said, Ant's one of these guys, he just always plays through everything, so I'd assume he's in. But you could have those ready, for sure. .5 assist on Chris Dunn. We can take a look at that one. Let's go over to Props Madness. Let's see here. Chris Dunn's obviously got a bigger role right now in the absence of Harden. Let's look at his games this year without Harden. So yeah, he's got a pretty good hit rate on 4.5 assists without Harden this year. 6'4", 6'3", 6'5", 6'7". Look at his potential assists. 11 potential assists, 9 potential assists, 7 potential assists, 6, 6, 8, 6, 9, and we don't know yet for yesterday's game because it happened yesterday. But I mean, he's consistently had like 6 to 8 potential assists per game without Harden this year. I will say the Rockets, like, they're the worst possible matchup for assists. Like, if you look, they rank 2nd in assists allowed this year. But if you just want to trust the hit rate, I mean, Dunn's had a pretty good hit rate on 4.5 assists without Harden. He's averaging 5.4 assists per game in 9 games without Harden this year. Let's look at games without Harden and with Kawhi. So without Harden and with Kawhi, he's over in 6 out of 8 games. I don't hate that play, honestly. I don't hate it. The matchup scares me, but he did just have 7 assists in the same matchup yesterday. So Grant Williams fantasy score. We can take a look at that one. Let's see. Grant Williams is definitely one of these players that's in line for a bigger role tonight, just because of so many guys being out for the Hornets for suspension. Okay, we just got news Anthony Edwards' game time decision, so that was we kind of knew that would happen. But I assume Grant Williams will start in place of Miles Bridges. They might start someone else, like Sion James. They might start T-John Salon. But Grant Williams, he's never been like a great per minute player, but you would think he's probably playing 25 minutes here, maybe more if he's starting. You could probably look at his games this year on StatMuse. Like, let's see, Grant Williams, FanDuel game log this season. He hasn't played a lot of games this year, I'm pretty sure. Like, if you just look at this season, when he's played at least, like, 20 minutes, 27.3, then he had 6.1, but then 26.9 and 20 fantasy score. Let's see if we can look Grant Williams, Hornets, game log. Let's just see if he's played games without Miles Bridges. So it looks like he's played a decent amount of games. Let's take a look at his FanDuel game log since we're trying to find out about fantasy score. So he's played 6 games without Miles Bridges. He's played huge minutes in those games. This was last season, or this is actually, I think this was 2 seasons ago. So take it with a grain of salt. But 28.9, 23.3. I mean, he's been pretty good going over 24.5 fantasy or 23.5 fantasy. The minutes have been really good in those games. His role is definitely not the same this year. He's also kind of been working his way back from injury. At 23.5, like, I feel like that's a good line. I don't think I'd be running to bet any overs there. If he's starting, I would feel a little bit better about it. I would. And if he's starting, I doubt they would bump the line up at all. You like Nolan Traore? In the absence of Clowney, I don't think he was like a big beneficiary. His lines might have moved some. But when a forward is out, like for example, like Clowney, he's a forward, like he's a power forward, small forward. Like I look to take, if I'm going to take overs, I want to take overs on the guys who get more minutes in that absence. So I think Powell, Zaire, those were the guys that would be in line to play more minutes without Clowney. Maybe Traore picks up a little bit more usage, but I wouldn't have been like running to bet his overs. I think the biggest beneficiaries were definitely Clowney, or not Clowney, but the 2 guys we took. Danny Wolf, you could have looked at some of his props too. But yeah. Colin Sexton over 11.5 field goal attempts. We can take a look at that one. Sexton's another guy that's on a new team now. He's only played, I think, 1 game with the Bulls so far, and it was the last game. Pretty sure that was his 1 game with the Bulls. But, or maybe, what? He's played 2 games with the Bulls. So he's played 2 games with the Bulls. I mean, 14 field goal attempts in 29 minutes, 18 field goal attempts in 32 minutes. He seems to have a pretty good role on this Bulls team, and the minutes seem to be solid as well. Like, we could look at his stats from this year with the Hornets when he's played like 26 minutes. And you can't look at field goal attempts on Props Madness, but you can hover and you can see the field goal attempts. 13, 13, 11. I mean, he's consistently kind of been around that number. These are on, obviously, Charlotte, but still. He's typically a player, when he gets minutes, he's going to shoot the ball. So, at 13.5 or 11.5, like, I don't hate that at all. I don't like the matchup against Boston, but I'm pretty sure Sexton, like, coming off the bench, even if it's a blowout, like, he might still get blowout run. Because that game does have a big spread, which worries me a little bit there. But Sexton might still play in a blowout. So, over 11.5 field goal attempts, I don't hate that play at all. I'm rocking Paolo over 5.5 2-pointers made. Interesting. The 2-pointers made category is one that I typically, like, don't even look at all. You can take a look at that one, though. I'm guessing if you like that, it's probably because it has like a high hit rate on the last 5. Really? Oh, actually it doesn't. Interesting. I mean, if you're going to look at like 2-pointers made, you probably want to look at that area. and see if that's where the Bucks give up points. So one thing you can do on Props Madness, you can look and see where teams allow points. So Milwaukee, they rank 23rd, inside the three-point line. In the paint, they've been decent defensively, but without Giannis, I mean, their defense is probably worse in the paint. But yeah, you can see they rank 23rd inside the free throw line, or inside the three-point line. So that's good for Paolo, at least, to get some twos. He is taking 63% of his points are coming from within 10 feet, and Milwaukee has been good defending that area. But again, without Giannis, are they as good? Probably not. I don't think that's a terrible play. I wonder if what he had against the Bucks earlier this year. I know they've played already once this year. He only had 11. Looks like he only had 11 points in that game. 3 for 10 shooting. So not great, but Milwaukee has been kind of vulnerable in the inside the three-point line, which is obviously what you're betting on, for them to for him to make shots inside the three-point line. How are we feeling about AJ Green? So AJ Green's a player that I like to target him in matchups against teams that give up a lot of threes, and that's not the Magic. So if you see this year, the Magic ranks second. They give up the second fewest catch and shoot points allowed, and AJ Green's 69% of his points this year are from catch and shoot. So the matchup's really bad for AJ Green for how he scores. He has faced the Magic once this year. He did have 15 points in that game. He shot 4 for 8, so he shot 50% from 3. A little bit unsustainable there. I don't love it. I don't think this is the greatest spot for AJ Green. If anything, it's a bad matchup for him for how he scores. But if that's a play you like, I mean, you could look at it. The matchup's definitely not ideal. Let's look at his games without Giannis this year. I want to say he's actually been worse without Giannis, but maybe I'm tripping. Let's see. So he hasn't played a game yet without Giannis and without Rollins. But without Giannis, he's averaging 9.3 points per game. Without Rollins, okay, he hasn't played a game without Rollins. But yeah, without Giannis, his scoring actually goes down a little bit. He's averaging 10.6 points per game on the season, 9.3 in games without Giannis. Obviously as of late, he's had some big scoring games without Giannis, but some of these matchups have been favorable. Bulls, Pelicans. This one is one I'm scared of. And there's blowout risk too. So if it was me, if I was making that play, I'd probably just avoid those props on AJ Green. But if that's a play you like, man, if you just want to trust it, then you can roll with it. But yeah, I'd be scared about that one a little bit. Jared Allen over 7.5 rebounds. That's definitely a goblin line for sure if I had to guess. I mean, it's a great rebounding matchup. The Wizards are terrible on the glass. And Alex Sarr is out. So they're going to be really bad on the glass tonight without Alex Sarr. I'm for sure liking Jokic, 23.5 rebounds and assists, entertaining triple-double. I mean, this is probably the best possible matchup you could ask for Jokic, facing a Grizzlies team that literally has no center. They're literally starting Kyle Anderson at center right now. They have no other bigs. Jokic could legit have 20 rebounds tonight, and I would not be surprised. What do you think about Sexton today? Yeah, we kind of talked about Colin Sexton. Since he's been with the Bulls, his role's been pretty strong. I mean, the matchup against Boston is not ideal, but Sexton's one of these players that just, when he gets minutes, man, he'll produce. He'll take shots. It seems like he's going to have a good role on this Bulls team. I feel like his props are set correctly given the spot, given the matchup, but I mean, if it's something you like, you could roll with it. Okay, we just got the Pacers news. Jarris Walker and Micah Potter are available. Damn it. I was hoping Micah Potter would be out. Okay, we just got the Hornets starting lineup. Hornets will start Ball, Knuppel, Brandon Miller, Grant Williams, and Kalkbrenner. So whoever liked that Grant Williams over, I like it. I feel better about it now that he's starting. And then Magic will start who we expected, so all good there. What about Brooks over 19.5 points? Let's take a look at some Dillon Brooks props. I'm always scared to, unless I have a really good feeling, on an injury situation, I am a little hesitant to bet overs when there's questionable players. But, you know, Brooks, I mean, even if Booker plays, like, he could still be good here. Obviously, if Booker's out, that's even better. But let's look at games without Booker this year. I mean, he's averaging 22.6 points per game, so really good numbers. The reason his line's lower tonight is because they're facing OKC, and this is, like, one of the worst possible matchups. But he's definitely been good without Booker this year. He's been good without Grayson Allen. He's just been good in general. I mean, Dillon Brooks is having a really good season. He hasn't played a game yet without Allen and Booker. Maybe he does tonight if Booker doesn't sit. I mean, for Brooks, it's really just like, for one, can the Suns keep this competitive? I know this game has some blowout risks, so that concerns me a little bit. But if they can keep it close, I mean, Brooks is probably going to be the reason why. Because especially if Booker's out, he's going to be their kind of whole offense. And we know he's not afraid to shoot. That's one of those plays, like, if I would maybe wait, just maybe have it ready to bet, and then once we get news if Booker's in or out, if Booker's out, I'd go ahead and fire it off. Okay, we just got word. Bucks start Porter Jr., Green, Kuzma, Sims, Turner, so that's as expected. Wizards will start Carrington, Watkins, Johnson, Koulibaly, and George. Man, the Wizards are starting Keyshawn George at center. Holy fucking shit. Jared Allen, yeah, he might have 15 rebounds tonight in 3 quarters. The blowout risk worries me a lot here, but man, it's a great spot for Jared Allen right now. This matchup's so good for Jared Allen. Like, they're actually starting Keyshawn George at center. Like, that can't, I mean, how tall is Keyshawn George? He is 6'8". He's actually bigger than I expected, honestly. How tall is Jared Allen? Jared Allen is 6'9". So he's actually, if Keyshawn guards Allen, I mean, that's not much of a height difference. I thought it would be. I still think the matchup's really good for Jared Allen, though. That was his lowest field goal attempts all year. I'm betting on a bounce back from him. Talking about Paulo? I mean, yeah, you could definitely bet on the bounce back. It was the Orlando game? They just played Orlando, didn't they? Or the Milwaukee. They just played Milwaukee. Yeah, they just played Milwaukee. I mean, yeah, 10 shot attempts from Paulo. Like, you can't expect that. I mean, what does he average per game? Like, probably like 17, 18 shot attempts. So, yeah, definitely should bounce back. Now, will he bounce back enough to hit that line that you need him to hit? We'll see, I guess. What about Miles Turner? Over 7.5 rebounds and assists. Let's take a look at that one. So right now, the Bucks are starting Jericho Sims alongside Miles Turner, which I don't love because Jericho Sims actually is a decent rebounder, which could take away from Miles Turner. If we look at it's 7.5, so most of the sportsbooks are actually favoring the under. DraftKings has it even money, but like Caesars minus 141, MGM minus 150, Hard Rock minus 145. If you're going to take one of those, if you're going to take that prop, you probably don't want to take it on Prizepicks. It looks like it's not even available on Prizepicks, so it must be a sportsbook play. I mean, if you're taking the over at plus money on a sportsbook, like, I think that's okay. I wouldn't take it on DraftKings, though. DraftKings has the worst price right now. But, I mean, let's just look at games without Giannis this year for Miles Turner for his rebounds and assists. So he's averaging around 7.5 per game. Hit rate of 10 out of 21. He has had some big rebound and assist games lately. I will say right now they are playing Bobby Portis fewer minutes, which theoretically should be good for Miles Turner's rebounds and assist upside because Bobby Portis is a pretty aggressive rebounder. Any minutes that Turner plays without Bobby Portis and maybe without Jericho Sims, those are going to be good minutes for his rebounding numbers. Orlando's typically like a pretty good rebounding team, so I don't think it's like the greatest rebounding matchup. But he did have 6 boards and 11 rebound chances last time when they just faced Orlando, and he did have 2 potential assists as well. He's been getting some assists lately. What's his rebounds at? His rebounds at 5.5. Honestly, if I was gonna bet that, I might. Man, he's heavily juiced for 2 assists. I would maybe look at his 5.5 rebounds at plus money instead of 7.5 RA. I don't love that play, though. I really don't. It's not the best rebounding spot. Turner's never been a great rebounder in his career. He's playing minutes alongside Jericho Sims now, which is not good for his rebounding numbers. So a little iffy on that one. If Embiid is out, who are we rocking with besides Maxey? Well, Embiid is officially out. We can look at some of the 76ers props. They've already adjusted the lines for Embiid being out. Do we have the Sixers put out their starting lineup yet? I don't think we've got that yet. I'm assuming Drummond starts in place of Embiid, but could be a Dembona, but it'll probably be Drummond. Look, Drummond's one of these players that, like, when he gets minutes, he can be really productive. I don't like the matchup at all, but I'm sure if you look at, like, his... Let's see. Let's look at Drummond's game log without Embiid. We actually probably could just pull this up on Props Madness. It'd be way easier. So let's just do that. So most, DraftKings has him 18.5 PR. Some sites have him 17.5. What about PRA? PRA is 19.5. Most places. So let's look at games without Embiid this year. I mean, without Embiid, he's averaging 20.5 PRA per game. Some of these games, though, like without Embiid, he barely played. Like 18 minutes, 20 minutes. Then he got 22 minutes, then 19, then 29, then 27. So the last two games without Embiid, he's had 29 and 27 minutes. If I knew Drummond was going to play that much, I would like it. I would like some overs there. Like, that would be probably my favorite play on the Sixers. Because I bet if you look at games this year without Embiid, when he plays at least like 24 minutes, he averages, 28 PRA per game. Even if you look at like 24 to 28 minutes, 25 PRA. The downside is he can have these games where he only plays 19 minutes, 20 minutes, 18 minutes. There's downside there. But the last two games, if this trend continues, the last two games without Embiid, he has played more. He's played a lot more than Adem Bona has. Typically, though, Bona and Drummond just kind of split the center minutes whenever Embiid's out. Yeah, I don't see... I mean, a lot of these lines are really inflated now, so I don't see anything I'm loving from the Sixers. But we'll see what their starting lineup is. We should get that any minute now. If it's something different than maybe what we expect, then maybe we could find something. Jalen Johnson has played well against the Hornets. That's probably true, but this Hornets team this year, they're way better than how they have previously been. The Hornets have previously been like a pretty bad defensive team, but they're not really anymore. Like, if you look at, let's see. He's had some good games against the Hornets this year, but yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like his lines are set correctly. The matchup's definitely not as good as it may seem on paper. Because the Hornets' defense has really improved. Like, you can look at, like, I think the last month or so, the Hornets have, like, a top 5 defense in the league. Let's just see. Let's just look at the month of January. This is last. I need to look at this season. So this season, in the month of January, Hornets are 6th in defensive rating. That's typically not something we see. Typically the Hornets are like towards the bottom of the league in defensive rating, but they've improved a lot defensively. So even though Jalen Johnson does have good games against the Hornets this year, I'd be a little skeptical. I will say without Diabate and without Miles Bridges, their defense probably gets a little bit worse, but Grant Williams can still defend. Same with Kalkbrenner. So, yeah. Nuggets blow out the Grizzlies, though take Jokic first half fantasy. Like I said earlier, man, it's such a good spot for Jokic for sure. Blowout's obviously a concern there, but yeah. John says, what's up, Noah? What's up, John? What do you think about Paul Reed under 9.5 rebounds? So Paul Reed's going to have some really high lines tonight because of the because of the Pistons being so shorthanded at center. I don't think he's played a game yet this season without Stewart and Duren. Okay, he actually has. So he's played 2 games this year without Stewart and without Duren. In those games, he had 13 rebounds in 31 minutes and then 7 rebounds in 22 minutes. So 9.5. That feels like a good line on Paul Reed. It looks like some sportsbooks though are favoring the under. If you can get him at 9, I mean, DraftKings has him at 9.5, minus 137. FanDuel minus 128, under 9.5. Some sportsbooks have his line at 8.5. I feel like 9.5 is a good line. The issue with Paul Reed is that he gets in foul trouble a lot. So there's downside that he could. I guess if you're going to bet unders on Paul Reed, there's always the potential that he gets in foul trouble and that helps your under. But per minute wise, he's a good rebounder per minute. Like if he plays like 30 minutes, I'd bet he grabs 10 boards. But there's a chance he can only play 20 minutes because he gets in foul trouble or something like that. So if you like the under there, I think you could take it if you wanted to. I'm a little skeptical though, just because of how good Paul Reed is per minute, when he does get minutes. And tonight, he should have the opportunity to play as many minutes as he can, assuming he can stay out of foul trouble. Can you look at Derek White rebounds? We can take a look at that one for sure. Let's do it. So Derek White rebounds is at, let's see, on Prizepicks, it's at 4.5, or it's at 4 on Prizepicks. Most of his sportsbooks have his line at 4.5, juice to the under. On the season, if we just look at 4, so White has pushed or gone over this line 68% of games, if we're talking about 4 rebounds, which is where his line is on Prizepicks. Matchup-wise, it's definitely good. The Bulls play fast. The Bulls have been really bad on the glass. I've always said, like, guard rebounds are always tough to project. Because, like, Derek White can have games where he gets, like you see, he had 9 rebounds one game, and then he can have games where he gets, like, 1 rebound. It's just, like, it's such a tough projection to project out. I mean, there's a lot of volatility, I think, in projecting out guard rebounds. The positives here, if you're going to bet the over, I think are that, for one, the Bulls play fast. Like, if we can look at games this year, when White has played against fast-paced teams, he averages 4.7 rebounds per game. When he faces teams that are bottom 10 in rebounds allowed, he's averaged 4.8 rebounds per game. So he's had a pretty good hit rate on his rebound numbers against fast-paced teams and against teams that don't rebound well. So that's at least a plus. And the Bulls meet both of those categories. Has he played the Bulls this year? Let's take a look at that. So he's played the Bulls twice this year. He has had 6 rebounds and 7 rebounds in those 2 games. He did play 37 minutes and 39 minutes in those games as well. Given the blowout risk in this one, I don't think White plays that much tonight, but if the Bulls keep it close, he definitely could. But I'd be surprised if he did play that many minutes. I don't love that play, honestly, on Derek White rebounds, but again, man, if you like that play, I guess you can roll with it. Guard rebounds are so tough, man. There's such a tough stat type to predict and to project. There's just so much variance. Going Insane says, let me stretch this 20. Let me know what picks. I mean, we gave out one slip earlier. Let me actually take a look. Did they bump those lines at all? Let's see. Zaire's PRA was 15. They bumped it up to 16.5. And then Powell's line was 11.5. They bumped it up to 12.5. Theoretically, I guess you could still take those bump lines, but I definitely don't like it as much. We can maybe try and build out another slip. Like, I definitely like building out, having something ready for if Anthony Edwards gets ruled out. Like, I was looking at taking maybe, like, doing something like this. Io over fantasy, DiVincenzo over fantasy. Because if Anthony Edwards does get ruled out, which I don't know if he will. I doubt he will, but you never know. If he does get ruled out, these 2 guys really benefit. And then, like, from the late games, we're still waiting for news on Devin Booker. We talked about how Jordan Goodwin really benefits if Devin Booker's out. Like, you can maybe do something like this. And if Anthony Edwards is out and if Devin Booker's out, I would feel really, really good about this slip. And this slip could still hit if, those guys play, but I wouldn't feel as good about it. Or you could look at like a Pods over. Pods fantasy was at 27. It's at 27.5 now. But if D'Anthony Melton's out, that's really good for Pods. But like I don't like to give out, unless I'm really confident that a player's going to miss, I like giving out. I'll give out slips then, but I'm not confident that Anthony Edwards misses this game, so I'm just going to just avoid it for now. But if you guys want to do that, you could definitely do that. Or just have it ready to play. Like, have it ready. Have your Prizepicks app open with those guys in there. And if you get a notification that Anthony Edwards is out, you just submit it as quickly as you can. I wanted to give out, some slips today, but I am kind of struggling with plays. A lot of the fantasy score lines that I like to look at, they've all bumped up a ton. Like, the lines were just so much different than where they were earlier today. So it's hard to find really good fantasy lines this late in the day, unless there's like a late injury, that you could potentially target. I do think with Joel Embiid out, this matchup is a lot better for Karl-Anthony Towns, and I don't think his lines didn't really get bumped at all. So if you're ballsy enough to bet some Karl-Anthony Towns overs, you could do that. I definitely think this could be a spot where Cat has success. But man, I feel like I never get Cat right. Like, every time I bet his overs, he sucks or he gets in foul trouble. But theoretically, this should be a matchup where he has success, and with Embiid not playing, he should be able to avoid foul trouble. He should be. I don't know if he actually will be, though. Yeah, I just saw Timothy asked about Cat. Yeah, I think it's a good spot for Cat. I really do. It is a back-to-back, but Cat he fouled out last night, so he didn't play a ton of minutes, whereas a lot of the other guys did play a lot of minutes. So Cat should be somewhat rested. I like going on the Suns over points. Good volume shooting, 3-ball, and Thunder's scheme is vulnerable to catch and shoot, plus other guards may not play. I like that as well, Benjamin, for sure. Especially if Devin Booker's out. I think that's a big boost for Jordan Goodwin. I would assume that Goodwin starts for Booker. They could go a different route, but I would think it'd be him. Build a 6-leg for the boys real quick. Love your picks. If I had 6 plays I really liked, I would, but I'm not going to force a slip just because. Like, I'm going to give out plays I'm confident in. That slip we gave out earlier, I really like, but the lines have bumped now, so I don't want to just recommend that to people. Colin Gillespie, PRA or fantasy if Booker's out? Either one of those would be solid, I think. Let's take a look. Where are the lines at? Let's see. PRA's at 21.5. Fantasy's at 26.5. I would probably lean fantasy there. Yeah, I'd probably lean fantasy there. In my opinion, though, if Booker gets ruled out, Jordan Goodwin's the guy who benefits the most. And that's the guy that I would be betting overs on. Just my opinion. We think about Zion over points and Gillespie over points. We take a look at Zion real quick. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. So let's see here. So this season, if we look at Zion, he's only over this line like a little bit over half his games. The matchup is one that I don't love. I would assume that Bam guards Zion, and Bam, defensively is still very stout. I know Miami's defense this year hasn't been as strong, but Bam himself still defends pretty well. I wonder if he's played Miami this year. He has already played Miami once this year, and he did really struggle. 12 points in 26 minutes. I don't love it on Zion. I mean, right now, if you're talking about his Prizepicks line at 21.5, some of the books have him at 20.5. Like, 21.5 just doesn't seem like a great play to me on Zion. So, don't love that one. And then Colin Gillespie. So, I want to say Gillespie's a catch and shoot guy. He definitely is. 49% of Gillespie's points are from catch and shoot, and the Thunder are a big catch and shoot funnel. They give up a lot of catch and shoot shots, second most in the league. So, although the Thunder have really good guard defense, like the scheme, how their defense sets up well for Colin Gillespie. And obviously, if there's no Devin Booker, that benefits him. Let's look at what he's done without Booker this year. He's averaging almost 15 points per game without Booker this season. He hasn't played a game yet without Booker and without Grayson Allen, but you would think you know, if Booker's out along with Allen, that's even better for Gillespie. So this is one of those plays, like, I don't mind taking something like this, especially if you have a good feeling on the Booker news. Like, if you are confident Booker doesn't play, I would definitely look to bet some Gillespie overs. It's a back-to-back, you know, typically on back-to-backs when guys are questionable with injury management, I almost assume they're not going to play. But we'll see with Booker, I guess. GB says, what's up, Noah? Listening to you on the interstate to work. Hey, drive safely, my man. Drive safely. Appreciate you tuning in, though. Did I miss a slip? Yeah, we gave out one slip today. The lines have already bumped a decent amount, but I'll put it on screen for those that want to look at it. I wouldn't say to tail it now because, like, again, the lines are different. But when Noah Clowney got ruled out, we took some overs on some Nets guys. And this is what we went with. Zaire Williams over 15 PRA. Drake Powell over 11.5 PRA. And then Jordan Goodwin. I think there's a good chance that Devin Booker doesn't play tonight, which makes me really like the Goodwin over. But if Booker does play, it's still okay. Like, Goodwin's still going to play decent minutes. So, yeah. This is our slip for tonight. If you want to tail. I mean, the lines are different now. You could take the bump lines. I'm not recommending that, but it's up to you. I was going to give out another slip, but, like, I'm just struggling to find more plays today. I thought with it being such a big slate, there'd be a lot of plays I'd like, but the lines are just, you know, it's so tough this close to tip-off. Like, the lines are just so efficient. Like, if you're going to bet NBA props, you almost have to do it early in the day. The biggest edge betting props this late is just injury news, and, you know, right now there hasn't been much injury news on stream that we've been able to take advantage of besides the Clowney one. Is the Mitchell discount a trap? I've already answered that. It's a 5-point discount, man. If you think it's a trap, take his under 26.5. I guess the negative there is that it is a game that does have blowout risk, but also the matchup is incredible for Donovan Mitchell, and he could definitely have 22 points in 3 quarters. I would still take the discount. I take every discount. You'll never hear me say, don't take that discount. It's very rare that I would say that. And if the discount doesn't hit, then it doesn't hit. It is what it is, but I promise you, man. I promise you, Prizepicks is not trying to trick you or trap you or bait you. They're giving these, they want these discounts to hit. They know when people win money off these discounts, they're more likely to just keep playing. Why would Prizepicks want a discount to lose? It's just going to be bad for the community. People are going to be unhappy with the product. Like, it's good when Prizepicks has a taco sweep, that's a good thing. Because the most likely scenario, if people do win money off those tacos, they're just going to play it again the next day. It's very rare that somebody wins money and then just withdraws it and never plays again. They're just going to play the next day. So I promise you, Prizepicks is not trying to trick you. What about Kasparis? Yeah, I don't know how to exactly say his name. It's like Kasparis Jakunis, something like that. He hasn't played a ton this year, but he's been playing more lately because the Heat are kind of depleted right now. Andrew Wiggins is questionable. So if Wiggins doesn't play, that's definitely going to be better for Jakunis. I think that's how you say his name. He's not really been like a great per-minute player this year. Like, he's had games where he's played a lot and not really produced, but lately he's been really producing. I'd be a little hesitant, though. Like, I'm not... Like, the last 2 games, he's had 22 points and 20 points, but he's had games this year where he's played, like, 30 minutes and has had, like, 5 points. It's just... Like, there was a game he played, what? He played 27 minutes. He'd had 12 points that game, but he played 27 minutes against OKC, 3 points. 23 minutes against Phoenix, only 7 points. The matchup against the Pelicans is good, but I'm not loving the Jakunis overs. Maybe if Wiggins gets ruled out, then I'd feel a little bit better about it. Can you scroll back up to my question? I had 2 picks in my slip. I wanted your opinion. Let me take a look at that, Judah. Let me see. I'm gonna answer this last question, guys, then we're gonna hop out of here. If I can find your question, let's see. Okay, thoughts on Cason Wallace, over 15.5 PRA, Isaiah Hartenstein, over 12.5 RA. We can go over to Props Madness. We can take a look at both of those. Cason Wallace, 12.5 PRA. Or what? No, 15.5 PRA, excuse me. So 15.5 PRA. Let's just look at games without SGA, because SGA is obviously out right now. And then let's look at games without SGA and with J-Dub. So he's played 2 games without SGA and with J-Dub, 12 PRA and then 22 PRA. Cason Wallace is typically not a super productive player per minute wise. He's a really good defender. He's a good steals guy, but like he's not a, he's not a player that you typically project to average like a PRA per minute. He's been playing big minutes lately without SGA, 31 minutes, 34 minutes, 34 minutes. I feel like 15.5. I mean, most books have him at 15.5. MGM does have him at 16.5. If I had to pick a side there, I think I'd lean the over, but it's not a play I'm in love with personally. Cason Wallace is just one of those guys like, man, I'm always hesitant betting overs on him. He's just a low usage guy that just doesn't do much on offense. That's obviously not been the case lately. He's been more involved in the offense, but with J-Dub healthy, with Chet healthy, with Caruso playing, just not confident in Cason Wallace's role. And then Hartenstein, rebounds and assists. We can take a look at that one as well. So let's look at Hartenstein's games. Definitely want to look at his games with Chet. So with Chet, he's averaging about 12.8 RA per game, over in 13 out of 25 games. Let's look at with Chet and without SGA. So he has been really good in 2 games without SGA. 19 RA, 15 RA. It looks like he had 8 rebounds and 11 assists, and then 9 rebounds and 6 assists. So his assist numbers have been very good without SGA this year. Does that continue? I don't know. Right now his assists are at 3.5, pretty heavily favored to the over. Where's his rebounds at? Rebounds at 8.5. Honestly, I don't hate the Hartenstein RA. Did he play? Let's see if he played any games without SGA last year. He did not play any games without SGA with Chet. But this year, the numbers have definitely been good without SGA, especially the assist numbers. So I don't mind that play. The Wallace one I'm a little iffy on, but the Hartenstein one I do kind of like that. And we did get news that Anthony Edwards is available to play, so kind of as expected. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up the stream here, man. Good luck, everybody. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. We went the full hour today. Hopefully answered all your questions. Yeah, it's a 14-game slate, so this one should be a lot of fun. Hopefully we can all win some money tonight. I will see you guys in the stream tomorrow. We'll have one more stream before the All-Star break. There's only 3 games tomorrow, so we'll probably just do a short stream tomorrow. But I did still want to go live before the All-Star break and, talk about some plays and hopefully win you guys some money, before the All-Star break. And then we'll be back, I believe, next Thursday. I think there's no games for a week after tomorrow. So I'll see you guys on the stream tomorrow. Best of luck tonight. Peace out, everybody.